Hello, my dear young learners. Assalamu alaikum. This is Rifat Siddiqui, Senior Lecturer, Department of English, Milestone College. In our today's class, I will be dealing with completing story, which is really one of the very interesting items from your HSC first paper syllabus. And in our today's class, we will complete a story from Dhaka Board 2017. But before completing the story, I'd like to share some of the key features regarding completing story. Let's see them first. Giving a perfect title is very important. In fact, through this title, you can attract the attention of the readers. So you have to be very much conscious while giving the title of the story. For this reason, you can sometimes take the moral of the story, or even sometimes you can name some of the characters from the story. For example, we all know the story of a cobbler. In this case, we can give the name of that story a happy cobbler, or even sometimes we can take the moral of the story as the title, like honesty is the best policy, or happiness lies in contentment, tit for tat, like this. So at first you have to be very much conscious about this title, and it's very important. Don't write the story in a single paragraph. Actually, it's a very important thing, and in the exam we find many students doing this thing. So you have to be very much alert and conscious. And when you write the story in a single paragraph, actually it loses its mobility, and at the same time it does not look attractive. So you have to be very much conscious, and you should not write the story in a single para. Rather, you should make at least 3 paras in the story. The beginning of the story must be followed from the given question, and it's a very important thing. In fact, in a question paper, you will be given a beginning of the story. It may be 2 or 3 lines, and you have to follow that story. And in this case, you can't write the stories in your own words. You can write the story in your own words, but at first you have to follow that very beginning, and you can't make a story in your own. So you have to be very much conscious and alert regarding this. In fact, story making capability is very important. In a creative story, you will always be appreciated if you write a story in your own words. But if the story is a fable, or the story is a renowned story, you can't change the theme there. Rather, you have to follow that very fable or that very renowned story. You can't change, you can't make any kind of change there, and you have to be very much conscious about this. My dear students, we have just discussed some of the key features regarding completing story, and now we will complete the completing story of Dhaka Board 2017. And let's see the story, and we will complete it now. Now we will complete the story of Dhaka Board 2017, but before completing it, we'll see the question first. The following is the beginning of a story. Complete it in your own words. So at first it is said that complete the story in your own words. So you should remember it. And let's see the beginning. Once an ant was very thirsty. He went to a river to drink water. When he began to drink water, a wave. So this is the beginning of the story, and you have to follow this, and you have to complete the story following this very opening. Okay, let's complete the story and we'll see it now. Dear students, before going for the story, I'd like to inform you that in your HSC first paper syllabus, you get completing story as item number 8, and for this item you will get 7 marks. If you follow these key features minutely, present your answers in a very decent way, definitely you can get 80% marks or even more than that. Anyway, I'm repeating those key features again so that you can watch it once more. Giving a perfect title, I have already told about this. Don't write the story in a single paragraph. You have to make at least 3 paras to make it more comfortable or more better. and the beginning of the story must be followed from the given question, and it's a must thing. And the last one, story making capability, the last point, story making capability is very important and very vast as well. For this you have to keep many things in your mind that I have told you earlier. There you can see the story now, a dove and an ant, and I have given the title from the characters of the story, but if you want you can also take the title from the moral of the story, as like a friend in need is a friend indeed, or something like that. Well, now we'll read the story. You see the bold lines there, and these bold lines have been taken from the beginning of the story, and you can't change these lines in any way. You can't change this, so you have to keep these lines as it has been given in the question. Once an ant was very thirsty. He went to a river to drink water. When he began to drink water, a wave from the river rushed to the ant. The ant could not get enough time to move away from the wave. The wave took him into the river, in fact into the big river. Though he tried very hard, he could not manage to swim to the bank. We could also write this line in this way. He tried very hard, but he could not manage to swim to the bank. And we'll go for the next para. As at the same time, a dove saw this sitting on a branch of a tree. She understood that the ant was in trouble and he was going to die soon. The dove felt pity for the poor creature. Really, it was really a very poor creature, and it was in very trouble. And it's a very important message from the story that we all should have such kind of fellow feelings. And in this fable, we get a perfect example of this. Anyway, at once the dove tore a leaf from that tree and dropped it in the water. After much struggle, the ant got onto the leaf and reached the bank safely. The ant thanked the dove very much for saving his life. And there you see the last para. A few days later, on a beautiful spring day, the dove was sitting on a tree. She was singing in a very melodious voice. Really, she was in a very good mood at the time. But unfortunately, a bird hunter was out for hunting. He was moving here and there in search of birds. Suddenly, he saw the dove on the tree. Seeing that dove, he aimed his gun at the dove to shoot. Just at that moment, the ant saw it. He quickly came to save the life of his savior. And why not, since he had been saved by that dove only a few days ago. As soon as the hunter was ready to shoot, the ant bit him on the leg. The hunter missed his aim because actually when the ant bit him on his leg, he cried out, and the sound of that hunter actually made the dove hour. Okay, the dove flew away. Later the dove thanked the ant heartily. From that day, the dove and the ant became very good friends. And in fact, helping others selflessly never goes unrewarded. And we can say that if you help anyone when he is in danger, definitely or surely you will be helped by that person when you will be in danger. Dear students, we have just completed reading the story, and now we will try another one in different style. In fact, completing stories can be written in many ways, and now I am showing you another way of completing the story. Well, there you see the story, and there I have used a different title there, because in my first story there I gave the name of the character, but this time I am using the moral of the story as the title. There you see, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Well, there you see the beginning of the story. Once an ant was very thirsty. He went to a river to drink water. When he began to drink water, a wave, and this portion has been given in green color there. and the reason is that actually it looks good then, and in the exam hall you can also mark these lines with a different color except the red one. Well, we'll go for the story now. Suddenly it took away from the bank. Actually a wave suddenly took it away from the bank. It fell into real trouble and was about to die. Though it tried, it means that very ant, though it tried heart and soul, all its efforts ended in smoke. That means it tried heart and soul, it tried much but could not make it possible. Anyway, we are in the next para. At that time a dove was sitting on the branch of a tree. It noticed the helpless condition of that ant and felt pity for that tiny creature. In my first story, not the first story, actually I am now trying a different thing there. In my first story I wrote there poor creature, but this time tiny creature, just making some difference there. Then it threw a leaf on the water. Getting the leaf from the dove, the ant became very happy. The ant then climbed onto the leaf. Later the dove flew down and carried the leaf to the ground. Because without its help it would have been really impossible for that ant to reach to the ground, so it climbed down. At last the ant became safe. After that the ant and the dove became very good friends. And why not? Because without the help of that dove, the ant actually could not survive. Well, we are in the last para now. A few days later a hunter came to the forest and found the dove on the same tree. Unfortunately, the dove was absent-minded on that time. It was singing songs and was enjoying the beautiful nature. Therefore, the hunter did not want to miss the opportunity. Actually, hunters always look for such kind of opportunities. He aimed his bow and arrow to the dove at that time. Well, in my first story, there I used a gun, but this time I'm using bow and arrow. So you can make some differences there, except the opening lines. At that time the ant noticed everything. It spotted there as soon as possible and bit severely on the foot of that hunter. Being bitten by the ant, the hunter could not shoot the arrow on the right target. He missed it. As a result, the dove could fly away. Thus the ant repaid its owe to the dove. And there you see all the sentence structures are very lucid and very easy. And it will always be better, it will always be appreciated if you use standard vocabularies and various structures, sentence structures to write a story. But sometimes even you can complete a story using lucid language also. And here the sentence structures, here the given sentence structures are very easy, and I think you have observed both the stories with patience. Last but not the least, my dear young learners, I think you have enjoyed our today's class. And if you really want to do well in completing story, you have to be very much conscious regarding the perfect blending of sentence structures, standard vocabularies, and the best use of sentence connectors. No more today. Thank you.